Mark Tatum, Deputy Commissioner and COO of the National Basketball Association.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be here with you all.
Dr. Richard Lapchick, thanks for being with us here on R&R on Sports.
Thank you for having me.
Civil rights icon, Dr. Edwards, how are you today?
I'm doing a heck of a lot better than I deserve, I'll tell you that.
Sports commentator, Scoop Jackson.
Good to be back on with you all.
Ian Griffey Jr., how are you today, sir?
I'm good. How about you guys?
It's R&R on Sports.
R&R on Sports.
Hello and welcome to R&R on Sports. My name is Howard Robertson.
And I am the grandiloquent one, the most amazing, the downright fantastical Larry Robinson. What's up, America?
What was the first word you used?
Grandiloquent.
Grandiloquent?
Yep.
And the definition?
To be grand and quint.
And diloquent. To be grand and diloquent.
That just means I'm
Okay,
special.
I'm
special.
Yeah.
I'm special.
You are that. You are that. What's going on? How you
Man, listen, I laid in the bed this weekend, Martin Luther King weekend, and I watched Tiger on, was it on HBO?
Yes, it's on HBO.
On HBO.
Yes.
And
so what's your thing?
I thought it was
Did you see the second one?
I saw the second one.
Okay. You had seen the first one?
Yes.
Okay.
I thought it was just a phenomenal piece of work.
Okay.
My challenges are the fact that it seemed like as much in the first one, as much as they wanted to build up Tiger, it seemed like they wanted to take away or disrespect the work of Earl Woods. I've seen this story before. I saw this with Serena, Venus, and Richard Williams. As great as they became,
do you think they did? I think they show pretty specifically that Earl Woods put everything, molded and shaped and made him a golfer.
Oh, he was definitely Dr. Frankenstein.
Yeah.
I mean, no we're fan buts about that. But
and you know what's
but wait a minute, but the same thing, once again, I've seen this story before. Black man has children. He pushes these kids to be great at their sport.
Okay.
And ultimately, he's villainized for being so dogmatic, so unyielding in his approach to make their kids great.
You think Earl Woods is villainized in this?
Absolutely. No. So let's start with Earl Woods. Let's talk about Richard Williams, and then we can bring it all the way today to LeVar Ball. The same thing. These guys have spoken life into their children and are unyielding and unshakable in their belief that their kids are going to be great. And that's the kind of support you want from a father. But it's interesting to me, not saying they're great, I mean, they're perfect men, but how many of us are? But yet and still, I found more focus on what his downfalls were, what his challenges were, all those things.
Being who, Earl?
Earl, Richard, LeVar. Same thing. Because you got to think, Richard Williams has more than Venus and Serena. LeVar Ball had 3 boys. All of them made it to professional basketball. And then on the situation of Earl Woods, from day one, 8 months, 10 months, he said, this kid is going to change the world. This kid is going to change the world.
And it became a self-fulfilling prophecy. It did. Yes.
He did it. All three of those men. But how many of them are lauded as phenomenal dads?
I don't think they all have the same perception. I don't think they all have the same situation. And I don't agree that Earl is villainized in this piece yet. I hadn't seen the rest of them, but I don't.
Oh, you didn't see 2?
No, I saw 2. That was it.
That's it.
Oh, we're done.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, okay. It's over.
No.
I think he was definitely villainized. How you couldn't talk to him. What's the lady say when the teacher said when he came in? Well, you definitely didn't want to see Earl coming.
She said basically he was an asshole when he shows up.
Right. But that was the predominant thought. That was the predominant thought that Earl was an asshole. And I'm saying is that could not have made up his whole personality.
But I think it's different
because
from the
his
other.
son loved him. His son loved him.
This is true.
Loved
That's
him
all.
like-
At the end of the day, that's all that matters. And all that matters right now is that we get to a break. We'll be back for more R&R on Sports right after this.
Hey, this is Dr. J.
This is Shaq Adocious.
Yo, what's up? This is Ice Cube.
And you're listening to a little R&R on Sports. Black Nerd Power.
My name is Richard Douglas Jones. I am one of the hosts for Black Nerd Power. Who am I? I'm a stand-up comic. You may have seen me on Comedy Central on the LOL Network.
Black Nerd Power.
I've been living this nerd life for a long time, like comic books and movies and all that other stuff. That's who we are. Just come hang out with us, man. Just geek out a little bit. It's okay. We won't tell.
Black Nerd Power.
And if you're a black nerd, you've had to hide that for most of your life. Black Nerd Power on the Kadzukian Network.
Hello and welcome to the Greater Holy Fire Church, where football is a religion. He's the Right Reverend Leroy T. Linebacker, and he's my trusted deacon Billy Ray Blitz. Today, friends, we're on assignment up here in Massachusetts at the home of Tom Brady. We've been sent here to perform an exorcism to exorcise out that heathen spirit of lying and cheating. Amen. Ring the doorbell, Deacon. I don't believe he's here, Reverend, but the door is unlocked. Oh my, Reverend, this is such a palatial mansion. Oh, look, here's a needle on the floor. What kind of needle? An air needle for a ball. But how are we going to exercise when he's not here? Well, Deacon, I've been doing this a long time. And what we'll do is exercise something close to him, and that works just as well. Grab that pillow off his bed, and we'll use that. Okay, Reverend. Okay, let me hold it here with your hands here. We rebuke the demon of lying and cheating out of Tom Brady. Wow. Lucifer, loose him. Loose him. Beelzebub, back your ass up. Back that thing up. Satan, set your ass down. Sit down now, loose Satan. Loose him. Loose him. Loose him. We rebuke him. Reverend, I'm feeling something, Reverend. Are you? Oh, Lord. I'm just too good. I messed around and exorcised the demon out of the deacon. Woohoo! Woohoo! I got running in my feet, Reverend. Wait, watch that plate glass. Amen.
Riffin' on jazz.
When two friends get together to kick it,
About jazz, it's called Riffin' on Jazz.
catch us riffing on jazz every week right here on your favorite broadcast or podcast platforms.
Riffin' on jazz on the Kadzukian Network.
Back for more R&R on Sports. Back. So you watch some football?
Man, a little bit. Man,
What did you see?
man, my boy got rattled. Lamar Jackson, concussion was I guess the du jour of the
day. Yeah. Injury du jour.
Yeah, I'm sure. I mean, because you got Patrick Mahomes. He's in concussion protocol. You got but it was really cool what the Bills fans did for Lamar Jackson. They supported his charity to a tune of over $300 and some thousand.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, so kudos to the Bills fans. But man,
So
Tom
who are
Brady.
you seeing
Brady.
joining whomever in the Super Bowl?
Well, I got Tom Brady,
Okay.
and then I got to go with Patrick Mahomes. I got to go with Patrick Mahomes, and that's going to be one for the ages. Super Bowl for the ages.
So the Bucks are playing who?
Did you turn? Did you a red light? You got to say red light or something when you're going to turn. You got to put on your blinkers or something. You just can't all of a sudden just out of the clear blue start talking about the Bucks and we talking football. See, that's that Alzheimer's coming in.
I'm talking about What Bucks do you think I was talking about? I'm talking about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Oh, well, see, I thought you was talking.
See, that's what happens when you think.
Yeah.
They're playing the Packers. So you think they're going to beat the Packers?
Ooh, man, Aaron Rodgers looks so good.
Yes, he does.
Man, if he had like the receivers that Brady had,
and
or
the main question is, where are they playing?
Or if they're playing in Green Bay.
Jeremy,
are they playing in Green Bay? They playing in Green Bay. Oh, they in trouble. They in trouble in the winter. Oh, no. Tom Brady's old rickety bones.
Oh my!
Goodness. Tom Brady he literally said he will never go back to New England in the winter. He said, I will never do that ever again.
Oh, my goodness.
And I'm sitting there like, brother, you about to go to
That's serious.
Green Bay, Wisconsin in January.
And they take pride. In, well, they won't be filling the stadium up, but they take pride in watching the visiting team deal with that. Oh, man. And everything hurts.
Unbelievable.
Everything hurts. Getting hit hurts.
Got to.
Hitting the ground hurts.
Got to.
Because it's hard.
It's like concrete.
Oh, my goodness.
Well, listen, man, this is Iron Sports, and we in the midst of our Top of Mind segment, and we are speaking about all things going on in sports.
So,
one question for you. Brooklyn Nets. You made the big blockbuster trade, but I want to talk about something that was besides that, because Karis LeVert was traded to Indiana.
Yeah.
In his physical, they found a mass on his kidney, and he believes it may have saved his life. Being traded, he says, may have saved his life. So I'm sitting back saying, man, sometimes things happen and you really take you take a negative approach to it.
Absolutely.
and then it turns out that it's been phenomenal or the best thing that could have ever happened for you.
That's because we all actors in a play that we've never read the script for. We don't know where we're supposed to go or what we're supposed to do. But no, I'm glad they found that.
Absolutely.
I'm glad that they found that.
But back to Brooklyn,
you're talking about back to the Nets. That is now a gumbo that personally I have no idea how it's going to taste.
It's going to be fun.
It's going to be fun.
Man, God, you got James Harden, Kyrie Irving, and Kevin Durant. You got three of the greatest offensive players in the history of the NBA on one team. Last week I said something about 30 points a game from three players.
Yeah.
What if we got 40 from three players?
But who's going to play defense?
Nobody.
Nobody.
Kevin Durant might, but Kevin Durant and who was it that said it the other day? I think it was Chris Webber. Kevin Durant might be the most unselfish superstar outside of LeBron James that I've ever seen.
Yeah.
I mean, literally.
See, they don't know nothing about gumbo up in Brooklyn. And I don't know how this gumbo is going to work. It's some stuff you don't put in your gumbo.
They are not going to go anywhere.
Stuff you don't put in your gumbo.
They are not going to make it to the. They're not going to make it to the conference finals and none of that. Get off of that because they can't play defense. Secondly, you know that Kyrie is probably going to have a problem with not holding the ball at point guard and James Harden being there. So it's a powder keg about waiting to happen. However, I still think.
How are the fans going to take this, though?
I think they're going to love it.
I mean, you
are going to see some of the most beautiful basketball.
You're saying in essence is you've got some of the greatest offensive players in the league ever in the history of the sport.
And now they don't have a bench.
all on one team.
Right.
But they could be highly dysfunctional.
Very much so.
As a team.
But even with that, everybody likes watching a train wreck. I mean, I don't have a problem watching them and Kyrie come in talking about the world is flat and all kinds of stuff. The world is flat, and then Kevin Durant getting mad because somebody done called him and told him he was weak on Twitter, and then James Harden just got to go party, so they might lose him in Florida.
James Harden upset because y'all didn't throw me the ball a couple of times. Couple of times down the dribble floor, I didn't get the ball.
So I'm just going to dribble out the whole 24. I'm going to dribble out the whole 24-second clock and shoot. That's what James Harden is going to do. He's going to take it through his leg about 17 million times.
But it's about to be really interesting because we are about to be, relegated to basketball and hockey.
Wow, that's right. But you're going to get college basketball. You're going to get a little college. And I have no idea who's playing on any team.
Little bitty taste.
This has been the most dysfunctional college basketball season known to man.
Will there be a March Madness? Are they going to be able to have it in February?
Indiana. They all going to play in Indiana. They're all going to play in Indiana. They're going to play at Purdue. They're going to play at IU. They're going to play at about 4 colleges. IUPUI, I think, is one of them. And I would be upset if I was like Illinois or Kentucky or California for that matter. I mean, why Indiana?
Speaking of that, now I know this is a national show, but we are in Memphis, Tennessee. What do you think about the state of the University of Memphis Tigers coached by
Penny Hardaway?
Yes.
I think he might be in trouble. I think he'll be okay this season because he just signed a new contract. But if Penny don't get this together, because he might mess around and lose a few players too. I think Penny might mess around and lose a few players to transfer, and I think he might lose a couple players to the NBA draft. Both of those things happen, and they tank next year. Mark my word, Penny Hardaway is out of here next season if they don't.
Really underwhelming. They lost to Tulsa by 1. At home, it is
something going on.
Really underwhelming.
Something's going on because the players are leaving and players are complaining. Parents are complaining. It's something going on. Somewhere the magic is gone. Now you see Mike Miller left. You had the coach for the Raptors. I can't think of his name right now, but he left. I mean, they've had a lot of turnover on that team. And even on the collegiate level, it's too early for there not to be any continuity. It's too early for that. Continuity. I made up my own damn word. Don't be telling me. That's like me talking about hyperbole.
Okay.
Continuity and hyperbole. Yeah, hyperbole. See, in Louisville, in Louisville, we learn a whole new language.
You ain't lying. You ain't lying.
Continuity, and hyperbole.
It's called hillbillies.
Yeah, see, I'm from Kentucky, man. You can't be, just throwing all these old highfalutin $10 words on us.
All right. So speaking of highfalutin words, we got some highfalutin ladies joining us.
Hashtag Chuck and Pearls.
Okay, there you go again.
I like the hashtag Chuck and Pearls, man.
Okay. Hashtag. I never understood that.
Hash brown.
So, where we used to do the barbershop, we got the beauty shop today. Stay with us. On the other side of this, we got much more conversation. R&R on Sports. Back after this.
R&R on Sports.
Former NBA basketball player, Brother Mario Elie. Welcome to R&R on Sports.
Pleasure to be on here with you guys, man. Thank you guys for having me.
It's R&R on Sports.
Welcome back to R&R on Sports. Speaking of back in the day, we used to do a thing that we called the virtual barbershop.
They had barbershops when you were coming up?
Yeah, they did.
Oh, okay.
They did.
I thought y'all wore dreadlocks or something.
No, me and your daddy was in there together. See, when he would come get his hair cut. So anyway, it's come full circle now, and so we can't say barbershop today. This is a very special day. We've got some very special young ladies joining us here on R&R on Sports, and why don't you introduce them?
I certainly will. Hashtag Chuck and Pearls. We have out of South Carolina, Miss Mika Gaston. What's up, Mika?
Hey, I took myself. I'm taking myself home. How y'all doing? Thank you so much for that intro. How you doing?
Absolutely wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. And we have out of North Carolina, Miss Danielle Brown. What's happening, Danielle?
Hi. Hey, happy to be in the house today.
Fantastic. And straight out of Florida, the South. Got multiple strains of COVID and all. We got Ryan Wagner. What's up, Ryan?
What up?
Well, it is now today, you know, it's a special day today.
Yes.
It's inauguration day, so you hashtagging Chuck and Pearls. In addition to that, we are also have a female cast, all female cast, because we want to hear about sports from a lady's perspective. Would you agree with that?
Sure.
All right. So first off the top, we're going to start with Miss Ryan. Let me get a brief intro. What you doing now, Ryan?
I am the Florida Senior State Coordinator for Black Voters Matter in the Sunshine State of Florida.
All right. We needed that. Y'all bringing it home, and you know y'all had some effect on Georgia.
This
we
is
know.
BVM.
All right.
Thank God.
Black Voters Matter. This is Black Voters Matter. All right, now, Miss Mika, give us a little bit about yourself over in South Carolina.
Absolutely. Well, I'm just holding it down. I do work in philanthropy, but I'm also an organizer and a content creator and podcast host in Charleston, South Carolina. So I host a show called Mic'd Up. But of course, I know Ryan and I know my sisters here, Ryan and Danielle, because I also used to work with Black Voters Matter, but for South Carolina. So I'm just happy to be here, though.
Fantastic. And last and certainly not least, we have Miss Danielle Brown, straight out of North Carolina, not Kakalaki. What's happening, Danielle?
Hi, yes, I'm happy to be here. I am the Senior State Coordinator for North Carolina for Black Voters Matter, holding it down. So, yeah, I mean, y'all get a little bit.
We can, you know, the BVM show. We can actually flip this to a political show. Sure can. Like right after this, we're gonna start the political podcast.
I mean, we're collectively known as the Hustle Sisters.
The Hustle Sisters. All right.
Well, let's
kind of like the Splash Brothers.
While we are talking about that and activism and politics and all of that, why don't we start about talking about athletes and their political activism now, and how you see it relative to that? Is it? I mean, you know, just what's your position on athletes taking the stands that they're taking and all of that? Since you're in your second wardrobe change, Danielle, let's start with you.
I thought it was a jump ball because I was going to go up.
I'm just happy to see athletes utilizing their platforms to amplify what we do on a day-to-day basis. They're not just amplifying politics, but they're amplifying the issues that are in our communities, especially in our Black communities. They are literally saying, no, we are no longer going to be your pawns or whatever you want to have us to be. We will shut it down for our people. And it is so great to see that. It's so great to see people rocking with that. It was wonderful to see our WNBA sisters wearing Warnock shirts for their game. I mean, all of this, they're taking their platforms and they're utilizing and amplifying what we get blessed to do every single day. It's a blessing and a curse. So I'm happy to see it.
So my question.
Hold on, wait a minute. Let me hear Mika. Mika was going. Mika was going to jump right in.
That's who I'm going to. So my question to you, Mika, is: are the people paying attention? Are they? I mean, does this impact y'all's job in any way? Does it make it easier? Are they more aware as a result of some of these athletes become involved?
I wanted to kind of continue on some of the thoughts that Danielle was just sharing. But absolutely, to answer your question quickly, absolutely. But this isn't new, right? We've seen raised fists back, in the Olympics. We've seen, Jesse Owens, his race and the political implications. Jim Brown has been vocal. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Muhammad Ali. We can go on and on and on about athletes entering into the political and having a positive impact, leveraging their celebrity for something good and positive. And to answer your question a little bit more, going back to the WNBA and those women and their impact, I mean, we've got this, I will not say her name, but we have, Warnock's opposition selling the team that she's currently part owner of. And I know that's due to social pressures that the women and their male peers in the NBA, how they've continued to apply pressure. So she's selling her ownership stake in the team. So you tell me, has it had an impact? I would say yes.
Listen, this is R&R on Sports, and we're in the midst of our Street Talk segment, Ladies Street Talk. So listen, Ryan, I'm curious about your take on when it goes too far, when the whole stance on social justice might go too far. We have Kyrie Irving, who literally said, I just had to take a pause because, and it was mentioned that he was having challenges with the Jacob Blake situation happening in Milwaukee and other issues like the storming of the Capitol. Kyrie Irving said he had to take a pause. Is there a such thing as social justice and activism going too far when it is your athletes?
I don't know that I believe in going too far, but you also there's also a point where you have to rest. Resting is radical in and of itself, especially with those of us on the ground. Black people, we're the reason that the current
Wait. Resting is radical.
Yes.
Unpack that a little bit.
Resting is a form of radical resistance. And what I mean by that is you cannot pour from an empty cup. Okay. We cannot do collectively the work that we do if we are running on empty. And so from that perspective, I agree with Kyrie. You got to take a step back sometimes to refuel and recharge and get back in it. This is a marathon, not a sprint. Okay. And once you get the victory, there's always the backlash that follows it. You have to savor that victory because there will always be a backlash when it comes to social justice work.
All right, Fannie Lou Hamer. So, I mean, should the black athletes and athletes of color, should they feel obligated? Should they feel obligated to be out there on the front line of social justice movements? Danielle.
I'm not going to say obligated, but I am going to say that they should feel a sense of a need, especially when you come from communities that are disenfranchised and impoverished, and you see what's happening and what's going on. And it's great to see athletes give back to their prospective communities, but giving back and making sustainable and significant change is completely two different things. So when you talk about folks that are giving back, hey, look, yeah, you came back, you fed the community, you made sure that, kids had some toys at Christmas or whatever, but did you in turn make sure that the laws were changed, that police were held accountable for your brother that may have been brutally attacked by police force, a couple of days ago? Did you come back and say anything in that regard? So I feel like there shouldn't, I don't necessarily say obligation, but there should be a sense of, I'm from this community and I need to stand behind my community that brought me this far.
Right.
What about balance, though? I mean, do you guys see anybody just kind of getting tilted or twisted or out of balance with regard to what they do for a living and their advocacy?
Well, that's something, as a huge sports fan, right? I follow mostly the big three, baseball, football, basketball. But I am a big sports fan. So the sports fan in me is selfish and wants the athlete to always be ready to go and perform and all of that. But we've seen, like with Kyrie, it's a reminder rather that they are more than just athletes, right? There's a book that was authored a few years ago by a former New York Times sports columnist, William Rhoden, wrote $40 million. $40 million slaves. And I think that was the beginning of a more public conversation, and at least in more contemporary times, about the athletes' power and powerlessness. Like, you make a lot of money, but do you really have power and influence? And I think that a lot of athletes are showing that they're not going to shut up and dribble, and they're picking and choosing where to enter this fight. That the struggle is like something that Danielle said almost made me remember this. And you can figure out a way to enter this conversation. We don't need you to run for senator. You know, it might be a toy drive. It might be stroking a check. We don't know, but there is a way for them to give back, because I have no doubt that there's an old grandmama, an old auntie, an old uncle, an old AAU coach that helped you along your way. Yeah, and they face barriers and obstacles every day, and helping out politically helps them. So, yeah.
Right. We're talking about athletic activism, and with some very knowledgeable people. And we've got much, much more to come here on R&R on
Guess
Sports.
What I want to know when we come back?
What?
How many pairs of Chucks they got?
You into these pearls and Chucks, man. We need to.
Well, I was wondering where your pearls
check your
were.
Wardrobe out.
I think where your pearls were. I was thinking you was going to walk
There's
up
something in your future coming up. We'll be back for more R&R on Sports right after this.
Let me get my ticket, baby. Let me get in line. I can tell the way you like it, baby. Super size. Hold on, you got
3. Entering into 40, I still had the same 30 and below confidence.
B.
In a bar, in your own home.
C.
You just feel unseen. And it's like, wait, what happened? Like 2 days ago, I was the
3BC. 3 Black Chicks on the Kazookian Network.
Back with more on our own Sports on the Kazookian Network. He does that sometime, y'all. Do it again.
Soprano.
Chucks and pearls. Yeah. You just the one. You are the right one, baby. So, I want to hear your take on sports overall. Given the year, as sports fans, given the year that is, I hope, fast becoming smaller, if not invisible, in our rearview mirrors, given the year we just finished, what do you think the lasting impact on sports is going to be? And particularly, also talk about...
Is this like a run-on question?
No. Also talk about...
this is like a 3-minute question. They ain't going to remember what the hell you asking them. Listen, what do you think about sports in 2020? Go. Mika, go.
I'm on a shot clock. Okay. Now,
you most
but coming out of like coming out of 2020, right? So like for me, you know, it was an interesting experiment. Especially, I would say COVID has been the biggest impact on sports right now. We can't go, we can't see our favorite sports teams. It's the playoffs right now. We can't go, and my team is out. I'm a Giants fan, but I ain't even make it into it. But we can't.
What fan was that?
I'm from Jersey. I'm a Giants fan. Don't even start. Don't start. I don't need to hear it. We rebuilding. We good.
The Jersey Giants?
Nah, it's the New York.
Oh, New York
Giants. Yeah.
We playing in Jersey.
I actually thought she was from San Francisco for a minute.
Never that. Here we go again.
You said 20-second timeout.
Yeah, we gotta huddle up. But but I really do hope. I think the NBA they modeled a great, forethought. They tried at least with the bubble. Yeah. Of course, you can't replicate the bubble. You can't really have that go on and on. It's not sustainable.
Worked real well though.
But it did, and it led the way, and it actually showed us that if you do the right things, you actually can stop the spread. Mm-hmm. You know, hint to our next president. But I think athletes came out of this. Let's take politics explicitly out of the conversation. They've learned how to create platforms. So they've created their own, like you see with Brandon Marshall with I Am Athlete, or a House of Athlete, and LeBron James has always been producing his own content.
Uninterrupted.
KD and Kyrie as well. So I think they've learned how to be more autonomous and to own their own likenesses in ways they never had before.
Mm-hmm. That's fantastic, because one of the things I'm wondering, in this time, will we see black athletes at the White House when they win championships? Ryan, do you think that black athletes will return to the White House now that we got a change of regime?
Now that it's Joe Mamala?
Yeah. I do foresee a return in terms of the visits to the White House.
Prediction: will the Lakers will they retroactively bring the Lakers?
I hope so. But the difference is we had previously, before 45, 44 was a huge advocate for sport. So we'll see.
I don't think Biden's gonna be shooting ball in the back, though.
No, he strikes me as the golf type.
Okay. All right. Danielle, what you think? Give us your take on it. Will we see athletes back at the White House, and will the White House become more supportive of the black athlete?
I absolutely believe so, because I believe that, as far as the support the athletes have given especially in the 2020 election, what that really looked like, I definitely feel like that they will definitely be back there, as long as they ain't being served, Big Macs and, stuff like that, I think they'll be good. But, right. So I definitely think we will see them back there. And I definitely think that the White House will be opening their doors to them and saying, hey, look, we appreciate you utilizing your voice to uplift the different issues that are happening throughout our nation, and ensuring that communities are taken care of, and that we are still a part of that community. So I definitely think they'll be back.
You're listening to R&R on Sports on the Kadzukian Network, and we're happy about it.
Hey, man, that's my job. Don't be taking my job. Then you're going to open the show or not.
Job,
just, one of the things you're going to have to do. Listen.
No.
We got Becky Harmon. We got Becky Harmon. We got all these women going into these leadership positions in professional sports. Kim, is it Ing or G? It's NG. How do you pronounce that?
Ing.
Okay. Kim Ing became a baseball manager. Do you see that happening more? Mika, specifically, since you're wearing the WNBA sweatshirt, do you see more women being the leaders of male professional sports teams?
I mean, it only makes sense. I think in some instances, in the WNBA, you've got men coaching women like no one even bats an eyelash. Bill Laimbeer or whomever just coaching women, and of course, collegiate basketball. So men have always had free reign in terms of leadership positions. So it's only natural for us to even think about that in other sports. And I'm a huge sports fan. Like, I grew up watching basketball. I know women like myself, like Ryan Vinkela. I know so many women who are really just great big sports fans that I think, had they been groomed to have a leadership position in athletics, you would have seen it years ago, generations ago. But there's still a lot of hurdles in terms of women being respected. And I don't want to liken it too much to like the black male quarterback, but it's kind of like that. Like, people don't really have an imagination for women. But like we mentioned at the top of the show, women been leading and turning over political results and changing the outcome. We're natural leaders. So why wouldn't it work in sports?
So show of hands, who has seen the HBO special Tiger?
Hold on, not the show of hands, because we got it's a audio show. So
can you
snap or something?
And everybody raise their hands.
Okay, all of them snapping their fingers.
So Danielle, let's start with you, but I want to hear from all of you. Give me your perspective of the show as an African American woman.
As an African American,
excuse me, I didn't hear. What was that again?
Tiger don't mess around with us now.
That part right there, that part. I mean, as an African American woman, I mean, what can you say? I mean, it's definitely, definitely something that how do I say this? That we've been advocating for, in the long run when it's all said and done. We as Black women, we whether you see us up front or you see us behind, even to build off of what Mika just said a minute ago. I mean, you've always had women doing something and being a part of it, especially Black women. So when you talk about us, we always somewhere in the mix. And most of the time we
not in Tiger's life. Not in Tiger's life. Y'all were persona non grata.
But that's the part. Like look at Randy Moss. You don't want to get with a sister, life get a little easier. Like that would have been my advice to Tiger. But I didn't mean to cut you off, Danielle. I'm so sorry. I want to yield. Okay. No,
it's a barbershop. You don't apologize for cutting somebody off in the barbershop.
I've been in a barbershop probably like as a like maybe 5 times, so I don't know the etiquette. But like but I will say, like, what you saw in there was a 2-part doc. I was all up in that.
Right.
You saw his father kind of set Tiger up. I'm gonna say, yeah, he set him up for success on the golf course, but he set him up for failure in terms of like understanding who he was.
Absolutely.
I understand that you have a mother that's Asian. I have biracial nieces and nephews, right? So I get that complexity, but for a Black man to not really instill into his son how important that identity is, I felt like Tiger was just searching for searching for his identity.
Can I jump in? Listen, this is On Sports, and we're speaking with women for Black Lives Matter. But I want to jump in there because initially Tiger talked a lot about being Black and changing things in golf because of him being Black. So Ryan, jump in there and I just wondered what happened with Tiger, because he talked a lot about being the first Black to win the Masters. He talked a lot about how he was going to affect change. And Earl talked a lot about how he was going to bring people together because of him being a Black man.
He also talked about getting kicked off of golf courses and places he couldn't play.
So just kind of take it from there and give us your impression.
I think that society, I mean, when it's all said and done, I think it's just overall, society and media, always plays a big part in that. I mean, it always plays a big part in your ultimate identity when it comes to our professional athletes, how people see us, what they, we can start off, fight the power or whatever, but then the next thing we over here doing our thing over here. And that's all well fine and
good.
So
the money corrupts. Is that what you're saying? The money corrupts, or the money bleaches you. Is that what you're saying?
We saw it with Mike.
It's not just the money, though.
We saw it with Mike, though. We saw it with Mike Jordan. Like, when you become $1 million business and potentially $1 billion business, I think those commercial pressures obscure or kind of dictate what you do. But you see some folks like LeBron buck that tradition. Like, I'm $1 billion business and I'm going to keep my political voice. I'm going to remember who I am. I got a Black wife, Black kids, a Black mama. LeBron is probably the first one that could have ran away from his identity.
So when you talk about LeBron, is he? Yeah, but your computer, man, you got a computer issue. So when you talk about LeBron, is he the standard bearer now? Is he the standard bearer for Black athlete activism?
There was some criticism of LeBron that I think that was justified in that, because he kind of occupied a lot of space, he took a lot of air out the room, and you had people the players on the Milwaukee Bucks, players on the Celtics, who were actually very committed to the struggle. They were out in the uprisings that took place following George Floyd's murder. And so you have a lot of unsung hero. And again, market pressures will always try to push the bigger known name to the top, where maybe there might be folks really working hard on the ground doing the work every day. Kyrie is one, but Kyrie is a little bit more mercurial, a little, the earth is flat. So sometimes he's not a reliable messenger,
right.
With some of his thoughts and musings, but we know the sentiment is there. But I think there are a lot of, and like the WNBA does not get enough credit for what they actually did in terms of Warnock was polling very low before those young ladies put his name on their shirts at warm-ups and continued to advocate. Their protest in the bubble was explicit. They went out. They did not. They took knees. They took knees after Kaepernick. Like they've always led the way, but they don't get as much light and shine as LeBron, and that's just the truth. Yeah.
Danielle, closing words.
I completely agree. I feel like, but again, as I was saying earlier, Black women, women in general have, whether we are in the front or we're not, we are still leading the way. I mean, when it's all said and done, we're the ones, we can be in the background, but still pulling them puppet strings and making things happen. So I feel like even now, when we talk about, athletes in politics, these women are going out here and they're going after what they've always done, and they're making sure that it happens, and it's just being seen a lot more now. And I'm grateful for it. I'm grateful that they're utilizing their platforms to uplift that. And even more grateful that people are seeing it and taking note and saying, you know what, they got something to say. And we truly are sitting here and we're listening and acknowledging that, even off the court.
So Ryan, close us out. Is LeBron the standard bearer for Black athlete activism?
Her internet won't let her be great.
Unfortunately, Miss Ryan is still having internet problems. Well, listen, we want to thank the Black Lives Matters. Black Voters Matter Hustle Sisters. We have Ryan Wagner out of Florida. We have Miss Mika Gadsden out of South Carolina. And we have Miss Danielle Brown out of North Carolina. Thank you so much for being on Street Talk today. And we got to have you back. So listen, when we call now, you got to come back. Can we get a commitment there?
Tell Jeremy to hit me up.
All right. All right. So listen, we'll be right back after these messages on R&R on Sports with Larry Robinson and Uncle Howard.
Uncle Howard. Y'all a mess.
Get us out of here, Jeremy.
I was a serial monogamous. I would meet a guy, go out 5 times and make myself his girlfriend.
B.
And that really didn't work. I would be there 3-4 years.
C.
And then I would try to morph myself into all of these things that he needed to make it work.
3BC. 3 Black Chicks on the Kazookian Network.
Kazookian. Back for more R&R as we head to the door.
Now it's time to say goodbye to all our family. M-I-C. See you real soon. K-E-Y. Why? Because we love you. M-O-U-S-E.
That took up a little time. There are people who listen to this show that will have no idea what that is.
Mickey Mouse.
It's the Mickey Mouse.
That's the Mickey Mouse Club, man.
Outro.
The outro for the Mickey Mouse Club. That's what they used to sing. Yeah. Man, shout out to Mickey.
Shout out to Mickey and Minnie and Pluto. Who you got? We got to get out of here. Who
hey,
you
man,
got?
I got the Buffalo Bills fans for taking care of my hometown college's Heisman Trophy winner, Lamar Jackson. Even though the players on the field treated him, roughed him up pretty bad, gave him a concussion, gave him a bad headache, the fans lifted him up afterwards and contributed to his foundation. So shout out to the Buffalo Bills fans up there in that cold northeast, I'm sorry.
Oh, my
What you got?
goodness.
What you got?
Well, I just want to shout out fans everywhere for their perseverance. They could have gone somewhere and done something else, but since they stuck at home because of COVID, they ain't got much choice, so they watch it. I mean, the ratings and whatnot, fans are not in the stands, but the ratings
Going through the roof.
Going through the roof. And we thank y'all for that. I mean, because, you know, you ain't got to watch. But I do want to shout out. I want to shout out the administration, which now I will always refer to as Joe Mamala.
What?
Joe Mamala.
Joe Mamala?
Yes.
Is that anything like Yo Mama?
Kinda.
Yo Mamala?
You know, they call our vice president, her family calls her Mamala instead of Kamala.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Okay.
They call her Mamala. And so Joe and Mamala.
Joe Mamala.
Joe Mamala.
All right. All right.
Glad to have you. You're bringing back civility. You've brought back civility and class to the offices, and we thank.
Let's hope we don't bring back inflation and all the other things too.
Hey,
but listen, this is R&R on Sports, and if you missed any of this, please go to the App Store, download the Kazukian app, or you can go to Google Play and do the exact same thing. So please support, rate, and subscribe, and we, appreciate you.
Y'all
we'll
take
be
care
right back next time.
Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. We'll be back next week, and hope you are too. I'm Howard Robertson.
Larry Robinson.
Peace.
We out.
You've been listening to a little R&R on Sports, written and produced by Howard Robertson, Larry Robinson, recorded and mixed in Memphis, Tennessee.